Hello, Andy Farquharson again, and welcome again to the special series recording live from the Oxford Symposium on employee ownership. We've just finished day 2 and had, yet again, a phenomenal day of conversations. Highlights for me were really sort of diving deep into different forms of employee ownership and impact investing. And we went to really deep into the fundamentals and technical aspects of employee ownership. I talked about day 1 being an introductory session, and day 2 has really been a deep dive. So again, we've got prepared quite a few interviews with some of the participants who are going to share their perspectives on the day. And I hope you enjoy the conversations. And what would you say has been your key takeaway of the symposium so far?
I love the interaction between countries and just the ability to hear new things and think new thoughts.
Okay, awesome. And what would you say is the biggest innovation you've seen in employee ownership from the couple of days?
Oh, wow. That's a difficult question because Slovenia is hot, very exciting. And I remember from the first conference, sort of they were exploring and now they're implementing. And it's incredibly fast and just heartening to know that this international conference is helping people to move ahead.
Fantastic. Now, think forward in 12 months' time, and there's a newspaper and there's a headline about EO. What does it say?
It says Canada has perfected employee ownership with both a profit-sharing element and capital account element.
Fantastic. Awesome. Barry, what's been your key takeaway of these 2 days?
I guess coming into the conference for me, I was in the little UK EO bubble. And I've been working on EO since 2016. But what I've realised, having been in the symposium for the last few days, is there's an international movement that's growing and gathering momentum. And that's really exciting. So that's been great to just play a part of that and just see that it's not just the UK that's pioneering stuff, it's all over the world.
And what would you say is the biggest innovation in employee ownership?
I think exactly that. I think that other countries are now looking to the established countries like the States typically with ESOPs and the UK with EOTs. And I've just come out of a session with the South African and Indian.
Yeah.
This is something that's absolutely taking off and going to explode. I mean, the numbers projected even in the UK are very exciting in terms of just the impact for those working in employee-owned businesses. So yeah, I think it's a great time and a great conference.
Very cool. Now, thinking 12 months ahead, there's a headline in the paper about employee ownership. What does it say?
I would love it to say that I think the challenge we have in the UK at the moment is it's EOT is the best kept secret. Mm-hmm. And when we became employee-owned in 2016, it took us a long time to actually discover it, and it's been brilliant. It's not perfect. There's issues and challenges you have to grapple with. But for me, if it became much better known, and I think events like this, international events, are bound to influence that and put that on the map, that was amazing. Some of the numbers I've started to hear about EOT businesses growing from where we are now at 2,500 to potentially 25,000 businesses.
It's crazy.
It's hugely exciting. I'm not saying that's going to happen in the next 12 months, but a great goal to work towards.
I like that headline too. Thank you very much. What has been your key takeaway for the last 2 days?
So this is my first time at the symposium, and the key takeaway has really been, I've just been blown away by how helpful people are. Like, everybody's so willing to do whatever they can, introduce people in their networks, or really just try and drive penetration of employee ownership in whatever way they can.
Yeah, it's an amazing, generous community. Exactly. So what would you see as the best innovation in employee ownership?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm learning a lot at the moment. So I think this is such a helpful forum because obviously every country has a different approach. And I guess I'm building a good foundational base of knowledge. And it really is, to me, it's the end that's worth focusing on rather than the means. So we think about EOTs in the UK, principally a succession tool, right? That's not the only thing we need to solve for, but it's not the only opportunity that employee ownership can contribute to.
Yeah.
So I think there is I'm not sure I can pinpoint a single innovation, but I guess my eyes have been opened to the wealth of potential.
Okay, so thinking about that potential and looking forward 12 months, there's a headline in a newspaper about employee ownership. What is it?
I think, touch wood, I hope it's going to be some inception of pension reform in the UK, leveraging long-term asset funds and crowding in capital to employee ownership vehicles that way. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but something along those lines.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Perfect. Now, if you could just share your name and where you're working.
So I'm Ita McMahon. I'm a partner at Castlefield Investment Partners. We're a financial advice and investment firm, and we specialise in ethical investing.
Fantastic. And what's been your key takeaway from the last couple of days?
What it's done is just reminded me that as an employee ownership business ourselves, we're part of this fantastic movement to sort of democratise and change the private sector, really, and sort of to sort of share the wealth in a different way. And I really think that there's an opportunity for us for me to go back when I get back to the office and think about how we can communicate that more with our client base.
Yeah, fantastic. And what has been the biggest innovation in employee ownership you've noticed?
We found the talk John Lewis gave today at lunchtime really interesting, because they are so much further on in that evolution and that sort of kind of arc of development of employee ownership than so many other organisations, and the fact that they are now innovating in terms of their own future.
Yeah.
So they're way out of that succession phase, and they're now into, well, how do we keep this business growing? How do we keep this business relevant and alive to benefit our employees for the next generation? I think that's just really interesting and, sort of trailblazing, really.
Yeah, totally. It paints a great vision.
Yeah, exactly.
And thinking about vision and the future, 12 months' time, there's going to be a headline in a newspaper about EO. What is it?
It would be great if there was some research done in the UK market to show kind of the benefit to individual employees that comes out of employee ownership. So we get the headline every year when it's a good year with John Lewis, and they say, their partners got this much this year. But wouldn't it be great if in the next 12 months, next 2 years, we could do a much larger piece of research that looked at the sector as a whole and was able to kind of give that figure on a much grander scale?
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So if we could just start by, you could just say your name and the organisation you're here with.
I'm Smitha Mankat. I live and work in India, and I wear two hats. I work at the grassroots with artisans and craftspeople and villages across India on rural livelihoods. And at the other end of the spectrum, I sit on corporate boards as an independent director. So with large companies in automobile, steel, renewable energy, retail, finance, but also non-profit boards.
Wow, so, really two ends of the scale there. Okay. So, and what's been your biggest takeaway from the last 2 days?
I learn something new every day. So I think it's really been a learning journey. And I'm looking at it from the point of view of seeding the idea in India of employee ownership.
Yep.
This kind of broad-based employee ownership, which we don't yet have. And I think there really is a place for it. So I'm just learning, I'm absorbing, and the conversations are energizing.
Okay. And what would you say has been like the greatest innovation in employee ownership?
I think allowing 100% and like no distinction, like really bringing that equality into organizations is a game changer. Because if we're really talking about reducing inequality and democratizing wealth, this is the best way to do it. And if you can actually get 100% of your employees to be co-owners with you, that's equality.
Fantastic. I love that. And finally, thinking ahead 12 months into the future, in the newspapers, there's a headline about EO. What is it?
EO comes to India.
Love it. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Hope you really enjoyed those conversations. We're going to be back again tomorrow for day 3 of the symposium, another round of conversations with people and a little bit more of a wrap of the whole event. Look forward to seeing you then. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to continue learning about employee ownership as an alternative exit, head across to abettermonday.me for additional links and resources. You can also make sure to subscribe or follow along in your favourite podcast app, and be sure to leave us a 5-star review.